Has hip hop lost its touch today? Okay. Just trying to me. Okay. I mean, I think that's
A bit, yeah. It has.
subjective. I mean, I'm gonna scooch because I'm too much on this.
A bit. We're
That's
both
so hard to
buff.
say. There's things I appreciate about this current generation of rap, so to speak. Because one of the things I always appreciated about hip hop is self-expression and finding your own craft and being different. So which is,
True.
you know, that's kind of one of the reasons I appreciate these new rappers, like Lil Nas and Lil Pump. It's not my cup of tea, but I appreciate it. You know, what I would appreciate also is if, you know, they did pay homage to the original rappers. But, you know, these are young dudes trying to, you know, come out on their own, get theirs. So I don't think they appreciate it when when these old heads try to say appreciate this. It's almost like a nagging parent. So they might pay homage when they're 30s or 40s, but right now they're just having fun with it, and that's essentially what I remember seeing rappers from the 90s. They're just doing their thing, enjoying what they love doing. They were you know, they didn't regret what they did in a sense. They just were themselves, and that's kind of what I appreciate in terms of rappers. I don't know much about the graffiti game or the whole DJ scene. There's so many things when you talk about hip hop. There's so much more things to it, and then there's the hip hop dance scene, which me and Liz are a little bit more familiar with. So that's more of our forte. But in terms of dance, like hip hop dance, I think it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
I grew up in an era where street styles hated the choreography community. They would all. I remember hearing people saying "fuck choreo" and "choreo is stupid." That's not hip hop. And I think that debate even still happens today. Maybe probably in different parts of the world. But I think now, thanks to events like World of Dance and Hip Hop International and things like that, it's unified the dance scene. And then try to aim to really push, you know, that essence of hip hop in the dance culture. But in terms of how has it lost its touch, I think it really depends on which element you're talking about. I think the one that's really been taken advantage of is the MCs or the rappers nowadays. Because now there's a divide. Like there's a rapper and there's an MC. There's a break dancer and there's a beat. Oh, there's a fly on my ear.
Oh, is it in your ear?
No, it like flew right here. That's like right that. So, as I was saying, there's a break dancer and there's a b-boy. There's a tagger. There's a graffiti artist.
Yeah.
There's what do you call it? I think a DJ, and then there's a turntablist. So they've made.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? Turntables?
Yeah. So they've
Still learning.
so they can have distinctions between the mainstream misconception and then the actual art of, you know, because anyone can get new marks and all that stuff and just start trying to like spin and all that stuff, but then there's people who actually study the craft and actually don't need an Apple or a computer, I forgot what the program was, to sync up their music. They just practice their sets.
That's crazy.
So, and then there's taggers, you know, who just straight up write on the wall, and there's graffiti artists, you know, that make
Beautiful
huge,
murals.
yeah, you know,
It's art.
That's the art of it. And then, and when I was growing up, break dancers were people who just did moves. So who can do a head spin, who can do a flare, air chair, whatever it is. But anyone can learn a move. But it's another thing to have your own style and approach to it. So, has hip hop lost its touch today? I think it depends on which community you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it really depends. In my mind, why people think also why hip hop is lost. If I just want people to really understand that it's because of what happened. Hey, how are you? Good. Sleepy.
You look comfortable.
They're all in there, boo.
Yeah, they're in there.
But back to what I was saying. Because of the OGs. People were inspired. So because of that inspiration, they evolve and they start, you know. And then once they evolve, sometimes whoever was started it here, and then all of a sudden here, they forget where the roots came from sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's really up to us to really educate the history and reality, but it depends.
I think it's a classic case of history repeating itself. I remember hearing a rapper and someone, I forgot who, but hip hop right now is reflective in terms of how disco was, where it's all about partying and drugs and all that kind of stuff. So was he filming us?
He was totally filming. He was gonna do like a little zoom, super zoom.
So, but that's why I think it's important to know the history of something so you can then prevent repeating it, repeating mistakes of the past. So even right now in the b-boy community, there's some people are hesitant of b-boying or breaking going to the Olympics because they're afraid of being taken advantage of again. It's almost like getting into a relationship. You get burned once, you don't want it to happen again. And this is we're talking at the level of a community, an entire scene. So, huh? Really bad sex. Jesus Christ.
You don't ever want to go through that again.
Yeah. Or if you've ever been in a relationship who's just emotionally unavailable or just complete asshole.
Or just really bad sex.
Yes, or really bad sex. I hope we don't get demonetized for this.